You may feel unseen, overlooked, or like nobody even notices your progress in life, you know? That doesn't mean God isn't moving still. Sometimes God builds you in the private before he ever uses you in the public. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, bruh. Let's grow the community and let's get to the next episode. Yo, what is good, everybody, man? Welcome back to another Kids Room podcast, man. Hopefully everybody's feeling loved and blessed as always, bruh. One thing about life for sure, two things for certain, is that death is already guaranteed and so are taxes. The only thing that isn't guaranteed is success. Life definitely isn't even guaranteed the next day, right? Because we're not God. We are not all knowing. We don't know what's going to happen to us. But if we do what is right in the closed doors, behind closed doors, in the dark, then God will be able to use us in the light. It goes on to say in the word before we go on to the lesson that in Matthew chapter 6, verses 6, it goes on to say, but you, when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. What you do behind closed doors is what you will be rewarded with openly. What you do in secret will eventually come to light. What you do, what you struggle with, will eventually have to subside. Everything has its time. And right now, it just might not be yours. Private development prevents public failure. God can expose us. We can be exposed when we feel like we are ready for something and when we are not. We feel like we are prepared for something when we are not always prepared. Same thing with David. David first was fighting lions, fought a bear. He learned courage. He learned obedience. And he just learned to work hard, right? To worship alone. Worship his God alone. Worship God alone, right? That's when you find strength. That's when you find that you're not going to just talk about my God. You're not going to just carry yourself any type of way. Just because we are Christians does not mean we should be letting people just walk around doing willy-nilly and doing all things like that. We are able to fight back as well. We are able to do things as well if we believe in our power and the things that God has given us, right? Those victories happened when nobody was watching. David was in a solitary place. God had him doing things that were far from what he was called to do. Those private battles, though, made him ready for the public stage. God hides you just to prepare you, right? The secret place builds character, though, not just skills. What you do behind closed doors of just practicing a language does not always means that you just getting better at the language. You're probably also getting better with being consistent, with not procrastinating, with not being lazy, with working hard, with having better work ethics. In all, right? God is building your character, not just skill. Jesus spent 30 years before the 3-year ministry, 30 years working on developing his wisdom, maturity, discipline, spiritual strength. Like so many things, God wasn't trying to just hide him. God was just preparing him. So when he went out into the world, the devil couldn't just say, I could give you all these things. He couldn't just tempt Jesus. Jesus was in a foundational state for 30 years. Imagine you being focused and working on something for 30 years. I guarantee you, you will be a master. No one will be able to tell you anything. Nothing, man. Whatever that you are doing for 30 years, I can almost guarantee that you're probably a master or at least really close to being a master of what you're doing or what you're studying or what you're looking at, right? What you're working on. So God may hide you by breaking pride, building humility, strengthening your discipline, very important, removing distractions and sharpening your focus. Private development makes you unshakable, right? So God, what does God do? God does things in private so then he can reveal it in public. God does things in private so he can reveal it in public. Joseph went through so many things in private, but then he was shown in public. Not the pain that he went through, not the testimony, not the suffering he went through, but just the things that he went through, what it built for him, and he used all the best qualities of it. God is trying to call you to use all your best qualities in what he wants you to do, in what he's called you to do, in the direction that you're supposed to be going in, right? So when the moment came, though, God elevated him. Joseph was right next to Pharaoh, man, was in charge. When they had no food, Joseph was the one to feed the people. Because public elevation happens after private preparation. You have to go through some private things, some private battles, some things on your own with God, right? In order for you to be exposed in the light, in order for you to do what you want to do, you got to go through the things in private. And sometimes you're not going to have everybody next to you right by your side to do it every step of the way, right? We see it every day now. We go each and every day by going through the motions, not working on things. We believe that we have to be working on a big $1 million project, working on a program, working on a course, working on these videos, working on so many things. But a lot of times, man, like people don't even realize it. I'm making these videos because it's been a few years, not even like a long time. I'm talking 10 years. I'm talking like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, where I was already posting motivational things. I was already posting things to have people be uplifted. But I had to add the element of God in there. I had to add the element of Christ into my lessons, into things, because it's not just motivation that you find things. I didn't find my strength just from being motivated. I had to find my strength from Christ. Eventually, I was running on things that were just motivating me. Videos, Instagram posts, TikToks, people, what they're saying. But eventually that stuff subsides. What doesn't subside is what God's word is. God was always there. God was always doing. God was always seeing. God was always preparing us for what is greater in the end. Because if you feel unseen or hidden, just don't be discouraged. Right? God is doing his greatest works in silence. God is doing his greatest works whenever you are reserved, whenever you are in privacy mode, right? Your private season is not punishment, it's preparation. Right now, your life just may be on D&D. It doesn't mean that you are not being disturbed, but it's allowing for other things around you to not disturb you, because what God is doing inside of you is much bigger than what's happening around you. What God builds in private, he reveals in public. Your time is coming. Just don't quit. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this one, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on the channel, man. And I hope y'all catch me on the next one.